this is the card I'll be showing you how to make. It's a easel card using the new Gumball Greetings stamp set along with the Gumball machine dies. And we're also going to be using some of the shaker domes and putting some of the frosted beads in there too. So it's a super fun interactive card just to kind of sit and look at. So to get started, we're going to start die cutting some of the Gumball machine pieces. So you'll take your platform, so you have number 1, number 2, and number 3, and we'll take some Magenta Madness cardstock along with some gold foil paper here, and then I'm going to grab some of the dies. So these are the dies I used to die cut. So we have the actual machine and some little accent highlight pieces. I'm going to move this guy over just a smidge. Anyways, there we go. And then we are going to, this is the front plate. We're going to do that in the gold. And then this is the little turn piece. And then this little tiny guy is super tiny piece, but it adds a nice little accent to the very top of the Gumball machine as a finishing touch. So once you've placed all your dies there, you'll take your other plexiglass plate and put that over top, and then we'll run that through the Big Shot dies. And then once we completely finish that, we will end up with the pieces that look like this. So set those pieces aside, and I'm going to next work on die cutting and stamping for the actual Gumball dome where we put the frosted beads in. So I took a 4x4 piece of the Abstract Beauty DSP. It comes in a 4x6 sheets, but it's super, super pretty. And I thought it worked very nicely with the colors of the frosted beads. And then also a 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 sheet of Magenta Madness. Next, you'll take some glue and, oops, add that, and we're going to glue the two pieces together like this. Next, you'll take the actual piece die that die cuts the actual dome part out to put the little shaker dome in, and I'm using some post-it tape here, but you can use a post-it note, whatever, just to keep this in place. I would say probably a 1/4 inch from the top of the DSP is where you'll want to or where you'll want the die to end up here, and then just kind of center it on both sides of it. And once you have it in the desired spot, put a little of the tape there to hold it in place, and then grab your platform. So you'll have the number 1, number 2, and number 3, and then your paper with your die, and then another plexiglass plate on top. You'll run that through the die cutting machine, and when you finish, you should end up with something that looks like this. Next, grab one of your shaker domes here, and we'll grab one of these, and we will be placing it inside, in the inside. So you'll want to take this top paper off, and there's adhesive there for you, which is super nice. So take that off, and then we are going to just line up this like so. There. Like that. So this is what you should end up with. So set this aside, and then we're just going to take some Whisper White cardstock, and you'll want a piece that's like about 2.5 by 3.5 inches. Just a scrap piece is all you'll need. Just big enough to put behind here, the dome. So I grabbed some black Memento ink here, along with the little highlight stamp that comes in the stamp set that kind of highlights behind the little gumballs. And you'll just ink that up like so, and stamp it right in the center, like that. And then next we can add our little frosted beads. So I've seen some people that turn their card over, or their dome over, dump the beads in, and then they put a acetate sheet over the back of it, and that way they're able to turn it over and better attach it and line it up with the little accent stamp here. I'm probably going to do the more challenging thing and just dump my beads in and go from there and kind of look underneath to line my paper up like so. So you can do whichever way you choose. I'm going to add about maybe a little more than a teaspoon of these beads, these little gumballs. Take your paper off there and then kind of just look up underneath here and line it up. And then once you do that, you should have something that looks like this. And then you can kind of move your gumballs all around and have a super fun time playing with them. Alright, so set this aside and we're going to put together now our gumball machine part of the card. So take your base here, and then we have these fun little accent pieces to go on top just to add a little bit extra element and dimension to the card, make it look that much more real. Then this piece goes right at the base. Next, we're going to take this gold front plate here, and we are going to add our little turn piece. So I just kind of bent up the edges there, just a smidge, just to give it a little bit more extra dimension. Add some Tombow glue, and kind of set it down at a angle, like a little bit of a tilt, just to give it a little extra action there. And then I took some of the in color jewels, sorry, and I used one of the pink Magenta Madness ones and placed that right in the center of the little turn handle here. Next, you can add some dimensionals here. I'm just going to add 2 big ones here and take the backs off of those and pop that on and center it right in the front, like so. Next, you can take your top, and then we have a little piece that goes on the base of the top. And with this card in particular, less is more on the glue aspect with these little tiny pieces. But they add such a nice element to the card, overall card. And of course our gumball machine. Now we have one little sliver of gold piece that goes on the very top of the gumball machine. I find it easiest if I put a little glue on here instead of trying to put glue on the actual gold piece. I find that I put more glue on my finger than the actual piece itself. So just be very careful and place that on top. And then you can readjust it. Well, this guy has a mind of its own. Just gonna say. But, there we go. So once you have that on there, it's a nice little touch to your overall card. So, now we can add this to our card front. I like to use dimensionals because I feel like it helps make it more real life. So I'm going to add 2 little mini ones here. And then I can add my top to the top of the gumball machine. And then I'm going to add a few to the base of the gumball machine here. And line that up there, like so. So now we've finished the front of our card, and next I'm going to work on making the easel and showing you that aspect of the card. So grab a Simply Score, and you will want to take a 11 by 4 1/4 inch sheet of cardstock, and you'll want to score it at 2 3/4 and also at 5 1/2 here. And then we'll get this out of the way. And then after you finish that, you can fold the card in half here, and then also it will fold again like so. So then you'll have this little triangle setting card here, like so. Next, you will add glue to this front little triangle here. And then we are going to add our gumball machine front that we just put together. Line it up with the base bottom corner here. Then you can actually lay it down and finish putting pressure all over it to make sure it sticks and adheres. So there we have that part. I'm next going to show you how I got this bottom greeting here. So I took the leftover piece of DSP, the Abstract Beauty of the 4x6 piece that I used for my card front, and I'm going to stamp the Wishing You the Sweetest Day Ever in craft white ink here. So just tap, 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 because this is a very sticky ink, and we'll stamp that down like so. And then we will grab some white embossing powder. Get a little bit on there. Shake off the excess. And this piece, I forgot to mention, is 4 by 1.5. And then after this, we'll use the heat tool to heat that. And then lastly, I added a gold piece behind. The gold piece is 4 1/8 by 1 7/8 inches. So I just layered the DSP after I heated the greeting, and I added some of the gold Simply Elegant trim there around that, and then I added some dimensionals, and this will help stop the front part of your gumball machine card. So grab your card front here, and I'm just going to line this up evenly down at the bottom and give it a little edge and border. And then because of the dimensionals, this will stop this and keep it as a little stopper there. So anyways, that is the card. Super fun, super interactive card. Anyways, hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching.